Joggers. Show the people my joggers.
Was it that your Gymshark joggers?
That's what you get that in there.
Like, can I have my wine?
You can. Which is yours?
That one will do.
That one will do.
Okay, perfect.
Let me just consult my Hogwarts time. No.
We should have rehearsed.
This is the rehearsal.
What the fuck just happened?
I don't know.
No. Oh. Okay.
It's got to be quick.
So we're back into the full swing of January. And doing so, we thought we'd start off with a very... What's the word?
Snappy.
That's not the word I was looking for.
Quick.
No.
Snappy, quick.
No.
Bullet point, fast paced.
No.
Helpful.
Very, what's the word?
I don't know what you're trying to say.
Very, not promptu. Very, I don't know what the promptu even means.
They would have clicked off by now. Next video. Short attention span. What are you trying to say?
A few moments later.
Fitting.
Fitting.
Very fitting. Welcome back to our channel. Happy New Year. I hope you all had a beautiful Christmas, whatever you guys were doing with your family and friends. We are back doing weekly YouTube videos, giving you guys advice about all sorts of things. And we thought we'd start off with a very fitting YouTube video for January. So this video is going to be about your top 5
ways to stay motivated in the gym at the beginning of the year when motivation dies very quickly.
Yeah, so we all know that we go to the gym in January, it's crazy busy, everybody's trying this new year, new me BS, and it just doesn't stick. So if you are a regular gym goer, you know, just touch my mic by mistake, you know that January and like maybe half of February, the gym is crazy busy. So we kind of wanted to give just the top 5 tips to kind of keep going.
Once the motivation has died, you mean?
Yeah, so like you start off the new year, you're very much
so you keep going past the initial kind of drive.
Like that little I'm going to get fit for 2025 sort of thing. I'm going to look a certain way for the summer, and then it gets like February and it just goes whoop, all the way down. So
give up.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do give up, sadly. And I think some of those reasons are the gym is too busy.
Yeah.
Because everyone's there and doing the same.
Not seeing results.
Shite as you. Not doing results because I was one of these, like years ago, I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So I'd go in.
A lot of people don't know how to get results.
And we just don't know what the hell we're doing. You lose motivation. So the reason you're there kind of goes, that initial like little kick of like new year, new me goes. And I think also, and something that I actually came across is people, like regular gym goers, become very unkind to people that start in January because they're like, oh.
Do you know why I think that is though?
So many people.
Because as people, as human beings, we are creatures of habit, right?
Right.
So if you're a regular gym goer and your habit is the same people, the same time, the same place, the same location, and then it's inundated, you're then rude and mean because it's like, this isn't my normal, you're invading my space. And
but people are not invading it.
They're not, but that's what goes through their mind.
Which I don't think is right.
No, it's not right.
So if you are a regular...
That's my...
analogy to it.
Not analogy, but that's what I think.
Your thought.
Yeah.
But I think if you are a regular gym goer and you see someone new in the gym, I think the first and foremost thing we need to establish...
Remember that you were there.
You were there once.
Yeah.
Right? We were all there once. Like, the most jacked up people were there once. Like, we all start somewhere. So just be kind. So that's the first thing I'm going to say is to the newbies that are going to the gym, be kind to them. We were all there once. But, okay, so let's do our top 5 to stay motivated in the gym in January to kind of keep that.
So the first one
going.
might sound like an obvious one to some people, but set goals. Like, why are you actually there? What is your goal? Because the worst thing you can do is just go to the gym and go, oh, I'll be on the treadmill for 5 minutes and I'll do this and that. Well, what's that machine do? Well, I will go on that. That's all cool because you're experimenting in the playground, which is fine. But if there's no clear goal as to what you're actually trying to do, then you're just kind of moving around and you're not going to get the results you're looking for.
Yeah. So I think knowing what it is that you want to do, like, for example, when I first started the gym, my goal was to kind of just tone up a little bit. And that was my goal.
I think 90% of people
is to tone up a little bit, lose a little bit of weight and tone up.
Yeah. But it could be anything. You could narrow that down to, I want to look fantastic naked. I want to be able to lift up my next door neighbour's car because he keeps parking in front of my house and move it out the way.
Those are extremes. I don't think you start off in January.
Do you know what I mean?
Neighbour's car.
Like you got to hold down what your goal is.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you can execute a plan. So first, number one tip: clear goal.
But have a realistic goal.
Clear,
realistic goal. So, like, for example, if your first goal is to lose £10, like, I don't know things in pounds.
People, people.
2 kilos.
Whatever. It's all relative.
Right. Like, make that your first goal. Make it realistic and, like, just focus on that one goal, like that one first step. That's the other thing, right, that I would suggest, when setting goals, is make it so realistic that you are able to achieve it. So start off with smaller goals before you hit the big goals. So, for example, if you've never been to the gym before, or you haven't been to the gym for like a year or two, don't make your January goal, I want to grow my glutes to double by March. Because that's not going to happen. No matter if you're in the gym 7 days a week, eating everything right, that's not going to happen. So, like, make it a realistic goal. So, for example, start with small steps that you can
I'm gonna butt in there.
Yeah.
So with goals, with setting goals, we're still at tip number one. Have a short-term goal, a medium-term goal, and a long-term goal. So your short-term could be something you want to achieve in the first 2 or 3 months. Mid goal would be 6 months. Long-term goal, I want to hit this or do this by the end of the year.
Yeah,
that's really good because then you have milestones to achieve rather than just having one big goal. Because the problem with one big goal is it's so far away that you need something to sort of congratulate yourself for doing before you get there. So that's short, medium, long.
Yeah, because if you make a massive goal for February, you don't hit it, you're not good. You're going to give up.
Yeah. So goal setting. Number 2, scheduling, which I think is probably the most important thing.
We're a little bit. We view this a little bit different. Because you're very much like schedule. I can't say the word.
Scheduling.
Schedule the day, right? Whilst I'm very much like, I think because I'm so busy and I have so many different hands in different pots.
Well, this isn't a bad thing because then you get into different perspectives on it.
Yeah. So you have a very like structured person's perspective, like a very like.
Yes. So but the common thing is that the scheduling equals scheduling / prioritizing.
Yeah. So mine's prioritizing, yours is
but it kind of falls under the same umbrella, right?
Yeah.
So when you lose motivation, for me, I would say schedule, right? When you lose motivation, you would say prioritize. So what's your definition of prioritizing? Go.
So for me, for example, I'm going to start the gym in January and I'm going to say to myself, in my weekly day, I have 4 days that I want to go to the gym. So 4 days a week, I want to go to the gym. And that's my goal, 4 days a week, gym. Instead of because, I've got kids, I've got a household to run, I've got jobs, I have businesses. Like, there's a lot of things that I have to balance. To me, is making a list on a daily basis and prioritizing what's important to be done that day. And if the gym is a priority to me, so if hitting that goal is a priority to me, that would be a priority during the day. So as I plan my week, as I plan my day, I'd be like, okay, so my top 4 priorities to get done today are X, Y, Z, and gym, right? So where can I fit those 4 things to ensure that those 4 things are done? Okay. Doesn't necessarily mean that, because of how my day looks like, I'm going to go to the gym in the morning every single day, because that might not look realistic for me. I might not be able to go to the gym every single day. And because then I've scheduled in 10 to 11 a.m. every single day and then I'm not able to do it, I'm like, well, I'm not able to do it here. I'll give up on that. Okay. So prioritizing it when the days.
So I'm gonna butt in there from a different perspective now.
Yeah.
So I think if you think like this lovely lady, that's fine. If you think like me, then this is going to be helpful. Scheduling your workouts. For me, if you don't schedule it in and book it into your diary like you would book any other kind of a appointment, whether it's work appointment or whatever, and it doesn't happen, then it's not a priority and you won't stay consistent, and ultimately you will lose motivation. So motivation is something that you should grab when you have it, but most of the time, 90% of my workouts that I do them because they're booked into my diary and have a time slot. Now, it might not be the same time every day, but it will be like on a Monday, it's 10 a.m. I'm making up times here. I'm
but
not
that's the
giving
same
you
thing
my
as
diary.
prioritizing.
It is, but like, let's say you work a 9 to 5 job, right? You can either choose to go to the gym before work or after work, or if you're lucky and you live close, lunch break, whatever, right? The point is, if you say to yourself, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week and I'll just kind of do it whenever. And then the day continues, it comes to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. You've run out of energy, can't be bothered, you don't go. It's not a priority. You're not consistent. You're not going to get results. Your motivation is going to lead to you giving up.
Mm-hmm.
So book it in like you would book any important,
or something.
Yeah, any important appointment. So let's say you work a 9 to 5 and it takes you half an hour to drive to work. Go to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
But put it in your diary, and that is, you just do it because it's in your diary. Like I run my life on a calendar, on Google Calendar, right?
Yeah.
So the point is, we're kind of saying the same thing, but coming from 2 different angles. But tip number 2 is just
make that goal a priority.
Yes. Prioritize it, schedule it in, make it work in your diary.
Is it schedule or schedule?
And on that is on that, very important actually, is the number you got to decide, and this links to your goals. You've got to decide the number of days that you're going to work out on the time of day, which is what we just talked about. But there's no point in going, well, I've never lifted weights before in my life, so I'm going to do 6 days a week. For a start, you'll feel like you've been hit by a train. You won't want to come back.
Yeah.
So
again, it go back to.
But you might have other priorities in life, so kids and all the rest of it. So you might go, well, actually, 3 days, 2 days of work works fine for me, so that's what I'm going to do. So then schedule that in.
Yeah.
Because those 2 days a week will turn into no days a week.
Schedule.
Tomato.
What's the difference?
I don't know. They can tell us. Scone, tomato.
For a foreigner, please tell me if it's schedule or schedule. Or schedule. Schedule.
Tip number 3.
Yeah.
When you lose motivation and you haven't set any goals, it's very hard to see how far you've come. And that's why tip number 3 is track your progress.
See, I'm terrible at this. I don't track anything. Terrible.
But you have the other 2 things pinned down. And you don't necessarily have to track your progress, but I think for somebody that's new to it, it's very important.
Yeah, it makes
If
sense. You're
like a seasoned gym goer that's been going for 10 years and you just do it out of routine, then fair enough. But initially, tracking progress is super important. It is.
I'm sure it is. I've never done it, so.
And there's different ways of tracking, and we could go into a whole hour-long talk about tracking. But for example, before and after pictures.
That's the easiest way now.
It's the easiest way and it's the most realistic way, right? Now, I say to all my clients that I see for the first time, they find a personal trainer / coach for the first time, and they will all say, oh, I don't really want to do before pictures because, I don't like the way I look or whatever. That's literally the point.
Yeah.
And every single one of them, I can guarantee you, every single person that says to me, oh, I won't do before pictures, I'll say, you'll regret it. No, but but physique's not my goal, strength is my goal, or cardio is my goal, or whatever it is. I'll say, just take a picture. You don't have to show me. File it, log it somewhere. And every single person, after about 6 months to a year, they all say, guaranteed, and I'll put my savings on it, is that they say, I wish I'd have taken a picture.
Yeah.
So, and on those days where you're not feeling so good about yourself, unmotivated, you're having a fat day or whatever, you pull out your old photo
and you compare yourself.
And you compare it to the new one.
Yeah.
That is golden.
I do think that before and after photos, or just photos of your progression, are probably the best way. I think weights. So my pet peeve is scales, and
that's a whole nother
Obviously, it depends on also your goal. If your goal is purely to like lose weight and fat and not build muscle as such, then great, scales are the way forward. However,
we'll do another video on this.
Yeah, but like, however, if like you are just a slender girl or a slender guy who just wants to build muscle or get toned up or whatever, stay away from scales, because like I always stayed away from scales. I'm very much like, I hate scales. I don't own scales. I like, to me, always has been how I feel in clothes.
I know people who have developed eating disorders because of
scales. 100%. So like, you're naturally going to be heavier than, like, if you're just a skinny girl, a skinny guy, you're going to be heavier, probably the same size, but toned, because muscle weighs more than fat.
Yeah, this is a we won't get into this too much, because this is a whole.
I know, but if we're going to go into like tracking progress.
But you can before and after photo is good. You can take measurements, but again, like, you know, if I measure my leg here, the tape measure, and then the next month I measure it half a centimetre lower on my leg, I'm going to get a totally different measurement, right?
Yeah.
So, you know,
it depends on your goals. It depends. Yeah. It goes back to like your first, what's your goals?
Yeah.
Right.
Number 4. This is an interesting one, and we'll try and keep it brief. Nutrition / overtraining. And the reason I put / overtraining in there, I know it sounds like two completely different things.
Yeah.
But your nutrition is your fuel for what you're putting your body through, right?
Yeah.
So it is linked very closely, actually. And the way you'll hear people, if you go down the Google rabbit holes, you'll find people say training and nutrition are just as important as each other. You'll hear people say, oh, training is the most important, and just eat whatever you want, dirty bulk, that sort of thing. You'll hear people say, oh, 70% nutrition, 30% training. From experience, I would say they go hand in hand, and it's 50-50. Because if you're training, lifting weights, whatever your training is, you need good fuel so that you heal and repair.
Yeah, the same as you need recovery time.
Recovery time. We know all this, right? But that links to motivation, because if your nutrition is really bad,
yeah, and
you're overtraining / under recovering, it essentially is the same effect on the body, because most people don't undertrain, they under recover, but it's the same thing in terms of the physical effect of it. If you're under recovering because of poor nutrition, you're going to feel like shit. And if you feel like shit, your motivation is going to drop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good workout plan, shit nutrition, you feel crap.
Yeah.
Good workout plan, good nutrition, you're fueling your body with what it needs to recover, you feel good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah?
For sure, yeah.
So that links into how you are physically feeling.
I think a lot of people have the mentality of like, oh, if I consume 1,000 calories in chocolate bars and sweets, or I consume 1,000 calories in fish and veggies and things like that, it's the same, because it's 1,000 calories.
Absolutely not.
And it's not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's, if your goal is going to be to actually achieve something good 2025, your nutrition needs to be.
And what you just said there, you've touched something there, that during lockdown, 2020 or whatever it is, there was a big thing on social media about you can eat what you want as long as the calories are in, blah, 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 blah. And that really got my back up and wound me up, because if your nutritional content of your food is poor, but you've got your calories right,
it's not going to work.
You will lose weight, yeah, of course, because it's energy in versus energy out.
You'd be like skinny fat.
Yeah, and you're not. Your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs. It's not just about macros; it's about micronutrients as well. Your vitamins, your minerals, everything else, right? And as a society, I think that
we lack that.
Of course we do. Like if you're just looking at shit for calories, then I mean that's why you can be overfed and undernourished.
Yeah.
You can be overfed and undernourished because of the quality of the food you're eating.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, we'll move on before I go on a massive rant. Tip number 5, real simple one. Stay away from negativity.
And this falls back into the first thing I said in this video, was being kind.
Yes.
Right, so if you are a newbie in the gym, right, and you're starting off, you'll get a lot of people who will moan that the gym is really busy, will moan about X, Y, and Z. Like, they'll go through a whole thing. Stay away from that, right?
Yeah.
To make it very clear, every single person is allowed in the gym. Every single person is welcome in the gym. Everyone is allowed to want to look after their health, to look a certain way, to build their strength, to be happy, be healthy, right? So staying away from any negative things, whether that's people in the gym being like complaining the gym is too busy and you're new there, whether it's you not understanding how to do an exercise right, and like there's always that time where you want to do an exercise, you don't know how to do it properly, and you feel like people are going to stare at you. Let go of that negativity and that kind of like mindset of people are going to like laugh at me. Go and ask someone.
But I've been there myself. I've the first time I joined the gym, I lasted about 3 months and I gave up. I fell into the category of the people we're speaking to. Yeah. And I gave up and I didn't go back again for about a year. And then when I went back, I invested in a personal trainer because I didn't want to feel the way I felt initially. And that was exactly that. You're on a machine. You're like, oh crap. People are going to think, well, I don't know what I'm doing. They're looking at me, blah, blah, blah.
Well, this is what I mean.
Most people just have their headphones in and they're looking at themselves.
Yeah, I tend to do that a lot. I tend to just like
But you think that everyone's looking at you. They ain't.
And then like I zone back in.
And if they are looking at you and judging, they're an arsehole. And if you feel like that, just go and ask whoever's working in the gym for some help. Yeah. Like, it's that simple. But on that as well is am I talking too much?
Okay.
On that as well is that and this comes down from experience of like what I hear clients present and past telling me, is when you've got somebody who's like really into it, they're focused and motivated, and they're doing everything we've talked about and they're on it. They might go and work in an office 9 to 5, and Janet in the office can't fathom their mindset of health and fitness. Mm-hmm. So they're constantly, do you want a donut with your tea on your tea break? And do you want a cake? And the old office treats going around all the time. Oh no. And then they almost get
Fat Fridays,
yeah. And they get like almost bullied in a light-hearted way because they're fit. Yeah. So there's that's negativity. And there's a quote, isn't there, which is, I've written it down because I would have thought I'd forget it. Socialize with 5 smokers and you become the 6th. And you apply that to everything. Yeah. Socialize with
negative people, become a negative person.
Yeah. Socialize with 5 negative people, you become the 6th negative person.
Yeah.
Socialize with five people that are, into the thing you want to be into, and you'll become the 6th.
Yeah, it's a mindset. Yeah. Socialize with people that have the same mindset.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, summarize.
Right. So number 1,
goal set.
Number 2,
scheduling.
Number 3,
track progress.
Number 4,
nutrition /over/under training.
Number 5,
stay away from negativity.
So there you go. So there's your top 5 tips. Now that was a lot of talking from Mr. PT over here.
Sorry. When I get onto something, I can't.
And
I could talk for an hour on each point, and then another hour on each sub point of that. We could set up a 24-hour stream.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year. All right, enjoy the gym. Set those goals. Make them realistic. If you guys want any help, if you guys I can't talk. Have any questions, just put a comment down below and we'll happily answer anything. Yeah. Mr. PT obviously will rant at you for about an hour about it. But thank you so much for watching as usual. Look out for more videos because these are going to be a lot more constant. Not always fitness, so we're going to do a little bit of everything. So keep an eye out. Don't forget to subscribe. And I hope you all achieve the goals that you've set out to achieve this year. So thank you so much. Thank you for watching.